Stephen gazed out of the train window, his heart brimming with anticipation. The cross-country journey he had embarked upon promised adventure and new experiences. He had always been a wanderer at heart, and this train ride was a testament to his insatiable wanderlust. As the train pulled out of the station, Stephen settled into his seat, feeling the gentle rocking motion of the carriage beneath him. The passengers around him seemed cheerful, lost in their own thoughts or engaged in quiet conversations. The atmosphere was filled with an air of excitement, mirroring Stephen's own enthusiasm. As the hours turned into days, Stephen marveled at the changing landscapes outside his window. Rolling hills gave way to towering mountains, and sleepy towns morphed into bustling cities. The train chugged along, its rhythmic movement lulling him into a sense of tranquility. However, as the journey progressed, Stephen began to notice subtle shifts in the train's atmosphere. The once cheerful chatter among passengers grew muted, replaced by hushed whispers and sidelong glances. The once friendly smiles turned into wary expressions. Later that evening, as Stephen ventured towards the dining car, he caught a glimpse of something out of the corner of his eye. A figure, cloaked in darkness, seemed to disappear into the empty compartment at the end of the corridor. A shiver coursed down Stephen's spine, but he dismissed it as a trick of the dimly lit train. Curiosity gnawed him, and in the following hours, Stephen found himself drawn to that particular compartment. Each time he approached, a feeling of unease settled upon him. The air grew heavy, and a sense of foreboding loomed like a dark cloud. The next evening, unable to resist any longer, Stephen mustered his courage and entered the compartment. It was empty, but an eerie stillness hung in the air. Shadows danced along the walls, casting unsettling silhouettes. A chill raced down Stephen's spine as a whisper tickled his ear. He turned sharply, but no one was there. The whispers persisted, growing louder and more urgent, as if the train itself held secrets it was desperate to reveal. Days turned into nights, and Stephen's excitement gave way to trepidation. He noticed peculiar occurrences, the train taking unexpected detours, inexplicable flickering lights, and strange murmurs echoing through the corridors. The once familiar faces of fellow passengers now appeared distorted, their smiles contorted into sinister grins. Conversations turned cryptic, laced with hidden meanings that Stephen struggled to decipher. He felt as though he had stepped into a twilight zone, a realm where reality and illusion intertwined. As the journey neared its end, Stephen's unease reached its peak. The whispers grew incessant, filling his mind with a maddening chorus. Faces blurred together, and he could no longer trust his own senses. Desperation gnawed at his sanity, clawing at the edges of his fragile composure. Then, on the final night, as Stephen lay in his compartment, the train hurtling through the darkness, the whispers became louder and more intense, their words a jumbled mix of warnings and evil promises. Shadows writhed and twisted, taking shape in the corners of his vision. Just as Stephen reached his breaking point, the train screeched to a sudden halt. The abruptness of the silence left him breathless. A single flickering light illuminated the empty corridor outside his compartment. With trembling hands, Stephen slowly opened the compartment door. His heart pounded in his chest as he stepped out into the dimly lit corridor, filled with trepidation and anticipation. And there, at the end of the hallway, stood a figure cloaked in darkness. It beckoned to him, a bony outstretched hand shrouded in mystery. Stephen stared at the figure standing at the end of the dimly lit corridor, its presence radiating both allure and danger. The whispers swirling around him, their haunting words echoing in his ears, beckoning him towards an uncertain fate. A surge of trepidation coursed through Stephen's veins, but curiosity and a deep yearning for answers fueled his resolve. With each hesitant step, the train seemed to groan in protest, as if warning him of the irreversible path he was about to embark upon. As Stephen approached the enigmatic figure, his heart pounded with a mix of fear and anticipation. Shadows danced around them, their ethereal movements casting an otherworldly glow upon the scene. The figure's features remained obscured, its form flickering as if caught between realms. Before Stephen could reach the ghostly figure, it faded away into nothing, sending a sharp jolt of fear through Stephen's entire body. Suddenly the train leaped forward and began to accelerate towards a now unknown destination. The whispers intensified, rising to a deafening climax. Stephen clutched his head, his mind overwhelmed by the cacophony of voices. The train itself seemed to convulse, as if the very fabric of its existence was being torn apart. In the midst of the chaos, Stephen witnessed something inexplicable. The other passengers began to fade away. One by one their physical bodies dissolved into a dusty mist, leaving behind only empty seats and lingering echoes of their presence. It was as if they were being absorbed into the train itself, consumed by its dark secrets. As the last remnants of the passengers vanished, Stephen found himself alone in the empty corridor, surrounded by an unsettling silence. Panic clotted his throat, his mind grasping for understanding amidst the swirling vortex of uncertainty. With trembling hands, Stephen made his way back to his compartment, his thoughts racing. He stared out of the window into the abyss of the night, a profound sense of isolation settling upon him. The train sped through the darkness, an ominous force hurtling it towards an unknown destination. As hours turned into days, Stephen's grip on reality weakened. The whispers echoed relentlessly within his mind, distorting his thoughts and filling him with a growing sense of dread. He struggled to differentiate between the tangible and the intangible, losing himself in a labyrinth of illusions. In the final hours of the journey, the train gradually slowed to a stop. Stephen peered out into the murky abyss, his eyes straining to discern any semblance of a destination. But what he saw sent a chill down his spine. A desolate wasteland stretched out before him, an endless expanse of darkness and despair. A foreboding presence seeped into the cabin, its weight suffocating. Stephen's heart sank, realization dawning upon him like a crushing blow. This obviously was no ordinary train ride. It was a descent into a realm where lost souls were condemned to wander aimlessly for eternity. As Stephen stepped off the train, his footsteps echoed through the desolation, each step a painful reminder of his own mortality. The train, devoid of life, vanished into the abyss, leaving him alone in the haunting wasteland. Trapped between realms. Emily had always been intrigued by the mysteries of the universe. Her fascination with the stars and the possibility of extraterrestrial life led her to spend countless nights gazing at the sky, hoping to catch a glimpse of something otherworldly. Little did she know that her curiosity would soon lead her into a nightmare she could never have imagined. One chilly autumn evening, Emily decided to take a break from her routine and venture into the countryside. With her trusty camera in hand, she set off to capture the beauty of the night sky, hoping to photograph a meteor shower that was rumored to occur that very night. As she reached a secluded clearing, Emily noticed an eerie silence enveloping the area. The normally vibrant sounds of nature had faded into nothingness. An unsettling feeling crept up her spine, making her hair stand on end. She dismissed it as a mere product of her imagination and continued setting up her camera, positioning it to capture the vast expanse above. Suddenly, the sky erupted in a dazzling display of shooting stars. Emily's excitement grew, and she eagerly began snapping pictures, completely engrossed in the spectacle. But amidst the celestial symphony, she spotted something that didn't belong, a peculiar glowing object streaking across the sky. Intrigued and captivated, Emily adjusted her camera to focus on the unidentified flying object. As it descended closer to the ground, its shape became more apparent. It was a metallic saucer-shaped craft, shimmering with an otherworldly luminescence. It hovered just above the trees, emanating an eerie hum that sent a shiver down her spine. Transfixed by the sight, Emily couldn't tear her eyes away. The saucer's bottom hatch opened slowly, revealing a blinding light that spilled out into the clearing. Before she could react, a powerful force pulled her towards the craft, lifting her off her feet and suspending her in midair. Fear consumed Emily as she dangled helplessly, her heart pounding in her chest. She realized the magnitude of the situation. She was being abducted. Panic surged through her veins as she struggled against the invisible grip that held her captive. Inside the spacecraft, Emily found herself surrounded by a stark, sterile environment. The walls seemed alive, pulsating with an otherworldly energy. The air felt heavy, suffocating, as if every breath she took was being carefully monitored. Emily's heart sank as she saw other humans within the vessel. Their faces etched with fear and confusion mirrored her own. They were a diverse group, men, women, and even children. Something sinister was happening, and she was now a part of it. A chilling voice echoed throughout the chamber, originating from an unseen source. It spoke in a language she couldn't comprehend, its tone conveying malice and malevolence. The words reverberated in her mind, instilling a sense of dread. As the moments passed, Emily's terror intensified. What did these beings want with them? Why were they taking humans? And what monstrous purpose awaited them in the darkness? Unbeknownst to Emily, the malevolent beings had sinister plans. They sought to create a hybrid army, combining the genetic material of humans with their own species. Their goal was domination, a force capable of subjugating worlds, starting with Earth. As Emily grappled with her captivity, she vowed to find a way to escape and prevent this abhorrent plan from coming to fruition. Deep within her, a flicker of hope burned, driving her to gather her strength and prepare for a battle against the alien captors. Little did she know that the ordeal she was about to face was just the beginning of a nightmarish journey, one that would test her resilience, challenge her beliefs, and force her to confront the darkest depths of human nature. Emily's determination to escape the clutches of the evil beings burned fiercely within her. She became a beacon of strength for the other captives, organizing secret meetings and sharing whatever knowledge they could gather about their captors. Together, they devised a plan to fight back, to free themselves from the grips of this alien menace. Weeks turned into months, and their resistance grew stronger. They discovered weaknesses in the ship's security systems, exploited small vulnerabilities, and managed to acquire makeshift weapons. The captives were ready to make their move, ready to reclaim their freedom. The fateful night arrived. The captives initiated their plan, overpowering the few guards stationed within the ship. Chaos erupted as they fought their way through the vessel, determined to reach the control room and disable the ship's defenses. Emily's heart raced with anticipation as they pushed forward, driven by the desperate hope of victory. But their hopes were swiftly shattered. The malevolent beings, far more advanced and formidable than they could have ever anticipated, were not to be trifled with. The captives were outnumbered, outmatched, and outgunned. The aliens' brutal efficiency was on full display as they systematically neutralized the resistance. Emily watched in horror as her fellow captives were swiftly subdued, their hopes and dreams crushed under the oppressive might of their captors. She fought valiantly, but her efforts were in vain. Overpowered and outnumbered, she found herself the last one standing, surrounded by the alien conquerors. With a cruel smile on their faces, the beings closed in on Emily. Their intentions were clear. They would not only use humans as the foundation for their hybrid army, but also eradicate any potential threats. Emily's heart sank as she realized the depth of their evil. There was no escape. There was no hope left. The aliens subjected Emily to cruel experiments, extracting her genetic material and subjecting her to excruciating pain. She became a mere pawn in their conquest, a tool to be manipulated and discarded. Her once bright spirit was broken, crushed under the weight of their relentless cruelty. As the days turned into weeks, Emily's resistance waned. Her spirit diminished, replaced by resignation and despair. The aliens had triumphed in their conquest, subjugating not only the physical bodies of humans, but also their spirits and hopes. In the end, the hybrid army the aliens sought to create became a reality. The once vibrant and diverse human population was reduced to a subservient force, stripped of their free will, and turned into mindless soldiers for the alien overlords. The world fell under their control, with humanity bowing to the whims of their extraterrestrial masters. Emily, broken and defeated, became a mere shadow of her former self. The spark of resistance that once burned within her was extinguished, lost in the abyss of despair. Her tragic fate became a haunting reminder of the merciless power of the malevolent beings who had conquered Earth. The story of Emily and the doomed resistance would fade into obscurity. The cruel extraterrestrials would continue their conquest, spreading their dominion across the cosmos, leaving behind a trail of devastation and enslaved worlds. In the end, the stars that had once filled Emily's dreams with wonder and curiosity now only served as a reminder of the unimaginable horrors that awaited those who dared to question the unknown.